Woe to the rebellious children, saith YAHAWAH, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. The burden of the beast of the south, into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper, and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. Now go write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of YAHAWAH, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly, at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For thus saith the Lord YAHAWAH, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. But ye said, no, for we will flee upon horses, therefore shall ye flee, and we will ride upon the swift, therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. At the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till ye be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, and as an ensign on an hill. And therefore will YAHAWAH wait that he may be gracious unto you, and therefore will he be exalted that he may have mercy upon you. For YAHAWAH is a God of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. Barakatah YAHAWAH, Barakatah YAHAWAH Shai, Barakatah YAHAWAH, Barakatah YAHAWAH Shai, Barakatah YAHAWAH, Barakatah YAHAWAH Shai, Barakatah YAHAWAH, Bahashem YAHAWAH Shai Ba, RachaHaKodash, Kol Thapa Arath, Hawad Wahaloyim, Ratwatham Yatla, Allahayanawa, YAHAWAH, Bahashem YAHAWAH Shai Ba, RachaHaKodash. And what I just said in the Lashon Kodash being the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, or in other words, the true biblical Hebrew for holy tongue or language. And what I just said is, all glory, honor, and praises abundantly and continuously to our power, YAHAWAH, the true name of our Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God, in the name of His only begotten Son, our Savior, our Messiah, our Deliverer, YAHAWAH, HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls Jesus Christ, in, or in other words, through the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching and pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth, to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3, as well as the rest of the elect scattered abroad amongst the heathen nations to the four corners of the earth, east, north, south, and west. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Ra'ib Tazadakwa coming back at you again, all through the spirit and power of Yahawah Bahashim Hawashai, with another lesson. Yahawah Ratazah is going to be edifying and encouraging for you Achim and any Achwaf that may be listening and or watching. And the first thing I want to say is that this is I believe that's part 32. Yeah, last night was part 32. This is part 33 and an ongoing lesson series that I just resumed after about 6 months, 6+ months of it being dormant. I just resumed this lesson series. This lesson series was a lesson series that I was stepping through for the live altar teachings. But then I got, the Spirit blew me on to some other things, and then more things and more things. And next thing you know, it was, kind of put on ice. And now the Spirit has moved me to go back and thaw it out and get back into it. So we thawed it out last night. And now we're getting back into the precept passages that we were in when we left off of it. Okay, which is Jeremiah the 37th chapter, and really Jeremiah 37 through 44. But we're focusing in on Jeremiah 37, Jeremiah 42, and Jeremiah 44, because we're extracting lessons that we need to learn, that we need to know, so that we can apply it in the future. Actually, really, the best way to put it would be in the here and now, because the time is upon us, okay? It's not fully upon us, so you could say it's in the future, but yeah, it's really in the here and now and the future. And really, the future is the here and now, because it's really an hour, metaphorically speaking, all right? And that hour is pretty much, for all intents and purposes, upon us. And with the little bit of time that you could scrape together and say, see, it's not quite yet here yet, that's time that you need to be using to get ready, okay? Because it's pretty much here, all right? And you need to be getting ready, getting prepared, building your faith at a breakneck pace, all right? With great haste, mahar rob, great haste, all right? Mahar being speedily, and rob in the... not to be confused with my name, Ra'ib, R-A-I-B. This is Rob, R-A-B, and it means abundantly. So Mahar Rab means great haste or abundant haste. Okay, and that's how you need to be looking at it, and that's why it's beneficial, and not really a stretch. It's really true. Okay, it's really most expedient and profitable to look at it as the time is here. Okay, yeah, you can scrape together a little bit of time and say, see, but that sets you up for a little bit of slackness, and you can't afford that. All right, and so we picked this back up, and you can see from the thumbnail what it's going into. In this lesson series, the main focal point of it is the charagma, the Revelation 13 badge, verses 16 through 18. I refer to it as the beast rice, because they always compare it to the size of a grain of rice, right? And what it is, and not to take it, what's the punishment, and we're going to be getting into all of that. We're saving the best, the best with regards to the precept passages that speak most directly to it. We're saving that for last in this lesson series. This tonight is part 33. We're re-engaging, which we did last night in part 32. That was the first lesson in this series for like more than 6 months. So we re-engaged last night, and now we're going to be getting on down the road in the book of Jeremiah, the 37th chapter. I don't expect we'll get out of that tonight because, of course, the Spirit is like the wind, and That's always going to be the case where, I have something I'm intending to get to, but the Spirit may say otherwise. But in addition to that, we're going to touch on that opening precept passage, which is Isaiah the 30th chapter, okay? Because the sentiment is right along what we're getting into. And we have to learn these lessons and apply them now. Now. And if you already know the lessons, then it's time to know it better, to work it deeper into your spirit, our spirits, okay? Because I got to go through the hour of temptation just like you. We all got to go through the hour of temptation. We all have to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. We all have to go through that dangerous place that is so tight and so narrow that only one man at a time could go through, okay? With a dangerous place to fall. On the left is on one side is a raging inferno, it's like a deep water, and then on the other side, a raging inferno. We all have to go through the straight gate, okay? Tight and narrow and straight, no G, no H, straight, no G, no H, S-T-R-A-I-T, meaning very tight and narrow and difficult and crooked. It's not straight line, it's crooked. Wisdom taketh us through crooked. Wisdom taketh us through crooked ways and crooked paths, and tortures us with her discipline to try us and see whether basically we're worthy. And when we get through all that, then wisdom will restore the straight paths unto us and show us her secrets. That's paraphrasing the passage from the Apocrypha. But that's on the backside. On the front side, which is where we're at now, it's about the testing and the trying and the straightness and the difficulty. Okay? And that's why the Most High likens us into a woman. And you're going to see this play out. Jeremiah 6:2. You're going to see this play out. Because a woman, she could have a choice to make where she could go with the man she's supposed to be with. And then you got the distraction. You got the test, the trap, which is a guy she's not supposed to go with, that she would have to be unfaithful to go with that guy. The guy that she's supposed to go with, she's looking at that path, and to go to that path, it looks dangerous. It doesn't look safe. She may start to take a step down that path, but she feels scared because it feels dangerous. It feels not, I'm not talking about the type of danger that the women like. They like the wrong type of danger, right? In other words, a bad boy. I ain't talking about that type of. This is a type of danger that is, if I go that way, I'm going to die. Type of danger. If I go with the man I'm supposed to go with, I'm going to die. But there's this other dude over here. I ain't supposed to go with him. If I go with him, I'm being unfaithful. But when I take a step down that path, when I look at that dude, I feel safe. He makes me feel safe. The man I'm supposed to be with, the man that I'm supposed to follow and obey, I don't feel safe doing that. I feel safe following this other dude over here that I'm not supposed to. And so what do women do? They go the way that makes them feel safe. Okay? And in doing so, they're slain, spiritually speaking. Okay? In doing so. And that's what happens. That's in a nutshell what was going on with the southern kingdom in the book of Jeremiah. That's in a nutshell. And that's what's going to go on here and now, today, with our people. And the vast majority of our people, instead of following our husband, metaphorically speaking, all right, Jeremiah the 3rd chapter, Ezekiel the 23rd chapter, that's the sentiment. He's our husband. Okay? He's the one that's planted us. He's the one that tends to us. He's the one that digs out the rocks, that sets up a fence, that does everything for us to grow. A husbandman, somebody that takes care of the field, okay? Somebody that takes care of the crops and whatnot. A husbandman, okay? And so he's the one that is our husbandman, right? And so, because that's what a husbandman means. That's what a husband is. That's why when it comes to agriculture and things of that nature, you'll have what's called a husbandman, okay? And that's the reason, or there's a direct connection between the meaning of that word husband and that application, as well as in the application of a man dealing with a woman. It's a direct application, okay? And so our husband, okay, likening us into a beautiful and comely and delicate woman, he is saying to us, come and follow me, and I'm gonna take care of you, and I'm gonna make sure that you get through this safely. I know it looks dangerous, but just trust me. Just trust me. I know it looks dangerous, but just trust me. I'm gonna get you through it. Trust me, faith. Trust me, faith. Okay, I'm gonna get you through it, and on the other side, I'm gonna bless you real good. Okay, and the woman looks at that, and she's like, I just can't see it. She may try, but then when she takes those first few steps, she feels all scared. It's like the anxiety and the fear just ramps up with each step. And it's just maybe one or two steps, and she's like, no, I just can't do that. Okay, because she's all in her feelings and her fear, right? And then she looks at the alternative, which is this bad boy, or in the sense of somebody who's going to provide her a sense of safety, or the illusion of safety, and she looks at that, and it looks so appealing. Although it's not the right decision, ethically and morally and spiritually, it's not the right decision. It feels so safe to her, and she takes those steps down that path. That's us. That's the nation of Israel. Looking at the right, which is the Holy One of Israel, our husband, YAHAWAH. Looking at the left, Egypt. Okay? Trusting in the shadow of Egypt. And what does the foolish woman do? She goes the way that makes her feel safe. Okay? She doesn't hearken to the voice of her husband. That's us. The vast majority of our people in this time are going to do that exact thing again. See? And so that's why we started with this this Isaiah 30. And I'm not going to break down. I mean, I was tempted to read the whole chapter, but I was let me try not to be, gluttonous. Let me try not to be gluttonous. I was already reading a lot, but I pulled up at the only kind of place that I could, and but we're just going to touch on this a little bit, and then we're going to get into the Jeremiah 37, okay? Because this is directly applicable to us in the right here, in the right now, in this time, as we are looking and staring at the end of this age, the end of this world, in an aeon sense. Aeon meaning an age, a period of time. The end of the world. Greek word aeon meaning the end of this age, not the end of the planet. The planet, the earth, abideth forever. Okay? The earth is going to be refreshed. It's going to be renewed, not remade. Okay, unless you're talking about remade in the sense of being renovated or refreshed. It's going to be the same earth. Only thing is, it's going to be refreshed completely. Okay, it's going to be, right now it's in a destroyed, broken down, cursed condition, and it's going to be completely and totally refreshed and remade in that sense. But it's going to be the same earth, just perfectized, if you want to make that a word. Okay, it's going to be made perfect again. Okay, even better than it was at first, before the fall, before all that. Okay, so now, woe, meaning great sorrow, misery, death, and destruction to the rebellious sons. Hebrew word banyam. I've yet to find that to not be the case, but let's look once again. I'm tempted just to stop looking because it's always the case. Yes, see that? And it's supposed to say banyam with an A, not an E, all right? And then it's supposed to have a YAM on the end. The YAM makes it plural, all right? Ban, B-A-N, is singular, but you see they translated it to the plural because they understood it was plural, but for whatever reason, they put the singular. And when you come here, it gives you the definition in the singular, but it's plural, and they know it's plural, all right? That's why they translated it. So this is almost certainly what's the word I'm looking for? An administrative error. It should have made it singular. I mean, it is singular. It should have made it plural, and they know it. The women and children of the nation of Israel, specifically, I meant to say the women of our nation, they are included by extension, okay? But the Most High is speaking directly to the men, all right? But the daughters of Zion are included because they're with us, and they're under us, The men are the leaders, okay? So, woe, great sorrow, misery, death, and destruction to the rebellious sons, saith YAHAWAH, that take counsel, but not of me. Where else are we supposed to get our counsel? Okay? But what were our people doing back then? Our people were getting their counsel from anywhere, anyone and everyone, anywhere other than our Father, the Holy One of Israel, or to go to the metaphor, our husband, the Holy One of Israel. Okay? Anywhere and everywhere but YAHAWAH Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay? That take counsel, but not of me. And that cover, and this is our Father's words. Direct quote here. Woe, man, great sorrow, misery, death, and destruction to the sons, saith YAHAWAH. These are his words as put in the mouth of the prophet Isaiah. Oh, it's already up. See? Behold, speak. This is what all the prophets do. And Isaiah is giving you an example of that. All the prophets, YAHAWAH, I be counted amongst that number, and I do hope, trust, and believe I am, that we all the prophets, all the 144,000, we all do this. And Isaiah is giving you an example. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people, yeah, the rebellious sons, the words of prophecy. What's going to happen? Which I will put in thy mouth. That's the only way for us to do it. Saith thereon, and cause them to be written in paper. It's recorded in the scriptures. But look, you don't understand it. You need somebody to teach it to you. And then you need to have ears to hear, okay, and eyes to see. You need to be given the gift of faith. And that faith will be activated when you do hear it. Because faith cometh by hearing, and hearing of the words of YAHAWAH. In the name of his only begotten Son, YAHAWAH, in this time. For they, his words, are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, Ezekiel. Okay, Jeremiah is going to be another good example of that. Let not the incredulity, which is unbelief in action, words, speech, or both, of them trouble thee that speak against thee. The emphasis here is on the speaking of the words. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. The faithful husband here representing our Father YAHAWAH, speaking to the foolish woman here representing us. YAHAWAH is not me and you brothers and sisters that are of the hopeful elect, not us, right? But us as a nation as a whole, okay? Saying, look, if you don't come with me, you're going to die. You're not going to make it. You know, picture a husband that's trying to convince his foolish wife to come with him so he can save her life, but she just won't trust him. And he's trying to plead with her, baby, just come on, baby, just take my hand. We're going to make it out of here alive. And she just won't trust him because she thinks it's better, and she feels like it's better if she feels like it's safer for her. It looks to her like it's safer for her to do something else, and she's kind of torn for a second, but then ultimately she makes the wrong decision and she dies. That's the picture. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Baby, come with me, baby. Come on, baby. Take my hand. I'm gonna get you out of here. But she don't believe him. She don't trust him. It looks safer to her to go with some other dude. Okay? And that's her undoing. Okay? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. See? You got to be faithful to our Father, faithful to the Holy One of Israel, faithful to our husband. Okay? The one that tends to us, takes care of us, who is our everything. Okay? Woe to the rebellious sons, saith YAHAWAH, they take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering. A woman who has a husband, but when she gets scared and she gets in trouble and in distress, she runs to some other dude. What the hell? But not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Yeah, you already had a lot of areas that you was fucking up in as a wife, but now you're going to add to it this. See, adding sin to sin, iniquity. That walk to go, yeah, because this is the picture here. You got a woman who's already far from doing and being what she's supposed to be, but the husband's putting up with that and dealing with her and trying to bring her along, and then she's gonna go and add to it, run into some other dude when she gets in trouble. Okay, come on, man. I don't know about you. I know you brothers. Hey, we all have the heart and mind of YAHAWAH Shema Shah, right? So jealousy is the rage of a man. And we do know our Father has told us point blank period that he's a jealous power. Okay? And who was that? I think it was Joshua, if my memory serves me correctly. He told us that, when I say us, I'm talking about us as a nation. He told us that, and some of us literally were back there, right? But he told us that when we were entering into the covenant. Okay? He was speaking to us, and he was like, nay, you cannot serve YAHAWAH, for he is a jealous power, and he will not pardon your iniquity. You know, if you don't do what you're supposed to do right by YAHAWAH, the Holy One, if you don't do right by the Lord YAHAWAH, he is going to turn and do you hurt. I mean, put a hurt on you after he's done you good. Okay? If he do you good, but then you go and you add sin into sin, and you start committing iniquity. He did do all that good, but he gonna turn and do you hurt. I mean, like, bad. Okay? So no, you can't serve YAHAWAH. And what did we say? But nay, I want to say it was Joshua. I'm pretty sure it was Joshua. I'm not going to get it right now. No, Joshua, we're going to serve YAHAWAH. That's what we said. You can read the account. Okay? I've touched on it before. It's a powerful account. Okay? And I believe they was like, we be witnesses against ourselves, you know. And Joshua is like, okay, you witnesses against yourselves. Okay, all right, you're witnesses. You said it. You said you're going to serve him, and I told you that if you don't do right, he gonna put some hurt on you. He gonna put a smackdown on you, right? Man, you're witnesses against yourself. Yay, we be witnesses. That's what we said, right? So let's move on here. I'm just painting the picture for you, man, because this is what's going on in the spirit. That walk to go down into Egypt. Modern day Egypt is spiritual Egypt, which is America, Babylon the Great. Trusting in America, Babylon the Great. And, getting in distress, which is done by America, Babylon the Great. That's why in this time, back on that time, okay, you had Hezekiah, in the book of, what was that? Yeah, Isaiah. Yes, Isaiah. We opened up with that yesterday. In the book of Isaiah, you had Hezekiah. And when that Hezekiah? What chapter was that? Because yes, it was Hezekiah. And we just opened up with that yesterday. But what chapter was that? Let me see here. I think it was like either 44 or 54 or something like that. Let me just check that real quick. Just want to touch on something real quick. Let me see here. No. I think it was like 54. Just bear with me a quick second. Just trying to refresh my memory. Where was that? Let me a second here. Just want to refresh my memory because I'm about to tie something in from yesterday's lesson. There it is. 117 verses. Think it'd be that much. We're in Isaiah though. Yes. Okay. Oh, it's earlier in the book. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Let's see here. Yep. Okay. So it's the 37th chapter. Yeah. So just like during the time of Hezekiah, when the Assyrians were coming against the southern kingdom, and there was a temptation to look to literal ancient Egypt for help and assistance, and then during the time of Jeremiah, all right, during the time of Jeremiah, it was a same thing, but this time, instead of it being the Assyrians, it was the Chaldeans, which is another way of saying the Babylonians, all right, attacking. And there was the same thing. There was a temptation and a propensity, a tendency to look, a strong urge, a strong desire to look towards Egypt for protection and provision and, security, okay, and assistance. Same thing, right? It's the same thing here today. Only thing is, back during the time of Hezekiah, back during the time of the of Jeremiah and the Chaldeans and the Babylonians posing the threat, back then it was two separate entities. You had the Assyrians, they were the danger, And then you had Egypt, that was the safety. Or so it would seem. And then you had the Chaldeans and the Babylonians, that was the danger. And again, same thing, Egypt. Why is it Egypt again? Because that's applying to the here and now. Because America, Babylon the Great is modern day spiritual Egypt. But back during then, you had Egypt versus Assyria. Okay, which way to go? Okay, and then you had Chaldeans, the Babylonians versus Egypt again. Which way to go? Today, modern day America, America, Babylon the Great today is both Assyria and Egypt. It's both the Chaldeans / Babylonians and Egypt, all rolled into one. Back then, it was separate. Today, rolled into one. And so the ones that are doing you hurt and the ones that are holding out their hands saying, run to us for safety, the same today. Back then, it was different. But today, all rolled into one. Because America, Babylon the Great, just gave it away, is modern day spiritual Egypt, but it's also modern day spiritual Assyria. It's also the modern day Chaldeans. And like I told you, I already gave it away. It's Babylon the Great. Okay? Okay? So it's all rolled into one. Ordo ab chaos. Okay? All right? Create the chaos, create the problem, create the pain and the suffering and the misery, okay? Which that's the chaos that will make the solution, put that solution in quotations because the solution is worse than the problem, okay? The solution is the problem, okay? Yeah, right? But this chaos, this pain, this suffering, this threat, okay, which would even appear to be a threat unto death, is for the purpose of making the quote-unquote solution, which is the real problem, appear attractive to you so that you will choose it. See? And it's all rolled into one now, right? Outside of that, it's pretty much the same thing. Ecclesiastes 1:9, Ecclesiastes 3:15, Romans 9 and 15:4, not 9. Romans 15:4. The things which are written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So today, Assyrians, the threat, Egypt, the apparent, what would appear or seem to be safety, all rolled into one. Okay, the Chaldeans, the Babylonians, we're going to be reading about in the book of Jeremiah. All right, the threat, and again, same thing with the apparent, what would appear to be safety, Egypt, same thing this time, same thing in both cases, all rolled into one. Okay, the ones that are offering you safety, okay, or what would appear and seem to be safety, is the same ones that's causing the problem, that's threatening your life. And if you run to them for safety, you are done. You have ran right into the trap, and you are done. But when they have the solution out there for you, quote unquote solution, the solution is the problem. You got to remember that the solution is worse than the problem. Okay, but when you run to them for the solution, when you run to them for that protection, I lost my train of thought. I forgot. I was going to say something right there, but I forgot what I was going to say. Let me get going, man, because I'm getting bogged down, but it's all subject to the spirit, you know? So, but yeah, that was just the point I wanted to make. Not what I was getting ready to say, but that was the point I was trying to stress, is that today it's all rolled into one. So keep that in mind. You cannot trust this devil, man. You can't trust, we can't trust. Look, a woman cannot trust. It's not a woman. Let me put it this way. A woman is not to be trusting anyone but her husband. We are not to trust anyone nor anything but our husband, who is the Holy One of Israel, our Father, YAHAWAH. And in this time, in the name of his only begotten son, YAHAWAH, who really, he has put YAHAWAH over us, right? YAHAWAH is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the one that our Father YAHAWAH has set up and given all power in heaven and earth to. Okay, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Hear ye him, listen to him, follow him. Okay, if we have the son, we have the father. If we don't have the son, we don't have the father. Okay, if we glorify the son, if we give honor and reverence and even worship the son, then that's to the glory of the father. This is what the father wants. This is what the father has commanded. This is what the father has spoken and desires. So it's to the glory of the father. Okay, to follow the son is to follow the father. Okay, all right, the father, then the son, then us. Okay, 1 Corinthians 11:3. Okay, the head of man is Hamashiach, and the head of Hamashiach, YAHAWAH, that is the father. So the father, the Most High, above all. Okay, then the son, then us, then the women. Okay, he is our head, to the glory of the Father. Okay, so keep that in mind. And this time, the threat and the appearance would seem to be so-called safety are both rolled into one, and it's all a trap. Okay, you run into it and you're done. Okay, I see it. I'm not making it very far, but that's all right. That walk to go down into Egypt today, what would that look like today? Okay, the very ones here in America, Babylon the Great, that are your rulers, and which really they taking orders, right? Okay, if you see their faces and you hear them talking on TV and all that, they just they're employees. They're taking their marching orders and doing what they're told to do, right? So when you follow them, you're really following those that are in control of them. And when you do that, you are running right into when you do that, you're going right into the trap that they want you to be in. That walk to go down into Egypt. What would that look like today? The very ones that are offering you a solution, we can, let me turn it around the other way. The very ones that are causing all the chaos and the mayhem and the famine and the sickness and the violence and the immorality and the everything else, the very ones that are causing all that and propagating that and pushing that, okay, are the very ones that are telling you what you need to do to make it, to survive. Okay, how can you trust that? Okay, and why do people trust that? Because they don't see the connection there. They don't see that today America, Babylon the Great, is both the threat and the trick of safety. It's a trick. Okay, all right, and that's how you got to look at them. They're tricks. All right, it's all trick, no treat. Okay, and so the very ones that are causing all of the issues are the ones that are telling you this is what you got to do in order to get relief, right? But what they're telling you to do is just going to seal your fate. Okay, what they're telling you to do is just going to basically lead to your slaughter. See, that walk to go down into Egypt. So what's that going to look like? Let's take it to the highest level. Okay, because all this other stuff is lower level, and yeah, it's bringing pain, it's bringing suffering. Okay, but let's take it to the highest level. All right, what's it going to be? What's it going to look like? Okay, because they're going to cause all kinds of mayhem and suffering, collapse the economy, all this type of stuff, and they're going to say, well, look, this is what we got to do right here, because if we do this, then it's going to be peaches and cream. It's going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's going to be teddy bears and chocolate candies. From then on out, we're all going to live happily ever after. Just take this charagma, okay? I mean, you got to look at all this mayhem, and they're gonna put the screws to the world, okay? America, Babylon the Great, yeah, especially, but the whole planet. They're gonna put the screws. They're already doing it. They're gonna put the screws to everybody. And so, what are you gonna do? Oh, I can't eat. Oh, I can't get a job. Oh, yeah, what am I gonna do? Because that's what they're going for. They're going for your food. They're going for your welfare, your ability to earn a living. Okay? There's a precept in the scripture that says something to the effect that when someone takes the earnings from a poor man, you basically killing them. Right? So that's what they're going for. They're taking your ability to basically, they're taking away your basic necessities. They're taking away your basic necessities, and then they're attacking your health. Okay? See? So that's what's going on. It has been going on, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse, and it's going to get even worse. Right? And then everybody's going to be like, oh, we can't make. So and then they're going to say, well, we got this solution right here. And everybody's going to be in such a place of distress and suffering and pain, and people are going to be dying. Okay? They're going to be looking around. People are dying. People are suffering. And they're going to say, well, we got this solution right here. We just need you to take this charagma. And so when you go to take the charagma, whether you had to be, convinced over a period of time, or whether you took it right away willingly, whether you had to have your arm twisted, whether you had to have teeth pulled, okay, whether it was under duress or whether it was gleefully and happily skipping to the dipping station, take off the D, put on a CH, okay? Either way, you took it, that's walking to go down into Egypt. And have not asked at my mouth, because you didn't come to the hopeful elect men of the Lord. The scriptures, the mouthpiece of the Heavenly Father is the prophets. Okay? So how do you ask at the mouth of the Most High that water to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth? How do you go and ask at the Most High's mouth? You ask his men who speak for him, which are the prophets, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. Yeah, you're so weak, you're so feeble. Your health is being attacked. Your ability to put food on the table is being attacked. Your ability to keep your family clothed and have shelter for them is all being attacked. So that's likened unto being in a very weakened condition. Okay, but how are you going to get strength? How are you going to get your strength back? Well, I'm gonna go to the so-called white man. I'm going to go to, the government. I'm going to go to Esau. And I'm going to say, Mr. Esau, what should I do? And he's going to say, take this chip right here. Take this, get dipped. Get dipped. All right? And you're going to say, well, if that's what I got to do, because that's what you're going to feel like. That's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like that's what you got to do. I got to. I don't have a choice. I'm not going to be able to feed my babies if I don't. I'm not going to be able to eat myself if I don't. I'm not going to be able to keep my house, keep my apartment. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to get evicted. I'm going to die starvation. My babies. I got to. That's what it's going to be like. Otherwise, I'm going to remain weak. So I got to take it so that I can be strengthened in the strength of Pharaoh. And then you take it. And that's because you trusted. You made your decision in whom you're going to trust. And to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So I'm going to go stand over here next to Egypt in its shadow, which means you're close to that. That's where you ran for safety. All this danger that is being created by Egypt. Oh, the alter ego. The alter ego of Egypt in this time, which is Assyria. All this danger being created by Assyria. All this danger being created by the Chaldeans / Babylonians. It's Egypt. It's the alter ego. The bad cop, good cop. Yeah, that's what it is. You got suckered by the bad cop, good cop routine. Okay? The bad cop, good cop rolled into one. That's America. Ruled over by the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of, which is the biblical Edomites. The wicked. Malachi 1:4. Okay? The wicked. Proverbs 16:4. The wicked. First Maccabees 1:9. The wicked that the Bible speaks of. The devil. Okay? The slanderer. The accuser. The false accuser. The calumniator. The accuser of the brethren. Revelation 12. Salaki, I'm still dealing with my sinuses, right? And the water to the brother that sent me an email. You know who you are, brother. I'm going to respond to that email. YAHAWAH, I'll respond to that email tonight. But the water for that. And I appreciate that. All right. YAHAWAH, I'll be responding to that email tonight. But yeah, see? So that's what when you do that, because that's what you've been doing all along. That's what you've been doing all along. Right? Okay? But look, we got to do, but there's a point that we cannot go beyond. And that point that we cannot go beyond is taking the charagma. You cannot go there. You cannot step on, let alone cry. You cannot step on that line. Okay? When you see that line, run the other way. Run the other way. Flee like Joseph fled from Potiphar's wife. Flee. You cannot even step on that line. Okay? But getting back to our people during the time of Isaiah, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. Okay? Yeah. You go. Look, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh. Yeah, you ran to who you felt was going to give you the safety and protection that you desperately needed. You ran to who you made your decision on who you was going to trust, and it's Pharaoh. Who's that today? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, generally speaking. He's in control of America, Babylon the Great. He's in control of this whole world. Okay? And you ran to him. You capitulated. You gave in. You gave in. You consented. You agreed. You said, okay, well, if that's what I got to do, then I guess I got to do what I got to do. Wrong. I'm going to hit you with the Charlie Murphy. Wrong. Wrong. I'm going to hit you with the Charlie Murphy, man. Wrong. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt. Yeah, when you was like, that's it. I got to go. I'm scared. And you ran to Egypt. Dip. Go ahead and dip me, Mr. Esau. That's your confusion. Okay? Verse 69. You can read the whole thing, right? Start at 67 at least, and then go down to the end. Okay? But sake of time. And they that consent unto them, yeah, you consented. Okay? Maybe you put up a fight a little bit. It don't fucking matter. You consented. Okay? They that consent unto them shall be, it doesn't matter, because that's the test. That's why this is the hour of temptation, which will come upon the whole world to try them that dwell on the earth. Try. The word try means to test and examine. Okay? You're going to be put in the situation where what's really truly in your heart is going to be manifested. Drop the pretext. Drop the acts. Drop all the bullshit. What's really in your heart? Are you really about YAHAWAH by Hashem Yahweh? Are you really going to trust the Most High? Because you're going to be put in a situation. You're going to be tested. You're going to be tried. The fire is going to be turned up. And when the fire is turned up, all the acting goes out the window. What's really truly in your heart is going to be brought out. Okay? By that heat. And if you're one of those that when that heat gets on you, you consent and you give in, it don't matter. If you waited, if you waited for a while, it don't matter. If you did it in order for little Johnny and little Susie to be able to eat because their bellies was growling, it don't matter. All that matters is that you did it, and you agreed. I didn't want to. You agreed, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. That's how it's going to end. And then what you going to say? Then what are you going to say? Well, I'm glad I did it because I felt safe for a moment. What are you going to say? There's the only thing you ain't gonna say anything because you're gonna get roasted in the lake of fire. If you make it that far. But most likely, the scriptures reads like everybody that takes is going to get roasted in the lake of fire. Most High is likely to torture you before that point, though, with plagues and judgments. Okay? But if you was going to say something, the only thing you can say is, damn, I fucked up. And that would be a gross understatement. Okay? Well, what am I supposed to do? Just we about to starve, we about to die, we about to this, that, and another. Trust the Most High. And if it costs you your life, then this is the mindset you need to be in. Okay? And they overcame him. You got to overcome, not be overcome. Okay? You got to be a more than conquerors. Okay? You got to overcome this world. And they overcame him. You got to overcome this devil. And overcome your flesh. And they overcame him and here's how you do it. By the blood of the Lamb. By the finished work of YAHAWAH Mashiach. That's how. But that's not all. And by the word of their testimony. And in other words, the word of your testimony. For us men of the Lord, preaching this gospel faithfully, diligently, in season, out of season. Okay? And living in accordance with what YAHAWAH told us. Because faith without works is dead. The first part is that faith. But faith without works is dead. And by the word of their testimony, that's the works that you put with the faith. Because if you have that true faith, which is in the finished work of YAHAWAH, all right, it's shed in his blood, that the Father sent him to do that for us, to make a propitiation for the nation of Israel, for us, for the elect first, and then ultimately the whole nation. If you have faith in that, then you're going to bring forth righteous works. By the word of their testimony. That's your righteous works. And they loved not their lives unto the death. If it costs us our life, if it costs you your life, you're going to lay it down. Okay? Though he slay me, he is the Most High YAHAWAH, yet will I serve him, trust him. That's the mindset. That's how you make it out. Whether that's going to be required of you or not, that's what's required. That mindset is what's required to pass the test. If you don't have that mindset, you will fail. Even if that's not going to be required of you. But you're going to be put in a situation where you feel like it is required of you. And because you're in a situation where you feel like it is required of you, even though it's not, for some it will. For some of us it will. It could be me. Could be you. We don't know. For some it will. But whether it is or whether it's not, let's say it's not for you, you're going to be put in a situation where you feel like it is required of you. Like, in other words, if I do what I'm supposed to do, I know what I'm supposed to do. But if I do that, I'm going and if you don't have that mindset, you're not going to make it. And you will die in your wickedness. See? This is what it means to be in the hour of temptation. Okay? And there ain't gonna be no acting. There ain't gonna be no pretext, no faking it. None of that. The Most High knows how to put you in a situation that's gonna make you squirm. Okay? There ain't gonna be nobody cool as a cucumber here. The only ones cool as a cucumber is gonna be the elect. Because when the Most High puts that heat on us, okay, YAHAWAH again, I be counting myself number. I do hope, trust, and believe I am. He puts that heat on us. It's just going to purify us, and and the purity of our spirits is going to shine forth. Okay, everybody else ain't gonna be no act, because there's a lot of fakers and phonies, man, and a lot of them even fooling themselves. They think they holier than thou. Okay, but in that time, all that's going to be dropped. This is the mindset you got to have. Okay, so all they that consented to them shall be had in derision, and I'm just going off my memory. Where is it? And in reproach and tried underfoot. Right? Where is it? Okay, here. Yeah. And, yep. So basically, I said it verbatim. Basically, that's verse 69. Okay. So now we go back over here. Don't think we're gonna get into Jeremiah tonight. Knew that might happen, but I thought that I would. I'm not even really getting much here either. Got a lot more to get. All right. So, yeah. So then it just gets into what verses 4, 5, and 6 is talking about is how eager we were back then to basically sweet talk, not really, let me see, basically just to give gifts, basically to do whatever we needed to do. We as a people, we as a nation back then needed to do to convince, basically, you buttering somebody up with gifts and flatteries. But here it's focusing on the gifts, okay? Bringing all these gifts to Egypt to purchase Egypt's protection and provision. See? All for nothing. That's what it's talking about here, okay? To a people that shall not profit them, okay? What all this gifts, all this, what would that look like today, okay? Campaigning for Trump, campaigning for these various different, political politicians, public figures, public officials, making donations to this cause, making donations to that cause, just doing these, showing up at their events, giving them your support, your full support, okay? Making donate. So that's what it looks like today, and so much more. And our people do all of that, okay? They do all of that, giving themselves, all right? In other words, Egypt says, well, this is the mindset we'd like you to have. Yeah, I'm going to have that. Yep. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Not only am I going to have that mindset, but I'm going to ridicule anybody that doesn't. And I'm going to applaud those that do. Okay? I'm not just going to do wicked myself, but I'm going to applaud those that do wicked. And I'm ashamed those that don't. See? That's what it would look like today. Anything I can do for you, Mr. Esau. Okay? Okay? That's what it would look like today, and more. For the Egyptians shall help in vain. Yeah, any help that you get from America, Babylon the Great. Okay? Now, we do what we got to do right now, but especially when it comes down to that charagma. Okay? Especially that. On the highest level. I cannot emphasize or stress that enough. Any help that you think you getting is in vain. It is going to come to naught in the worst kind of way. And by the worst kind of way, I mean your death. And most likely, not in all cases, but most likely your whole household. If your whole household took it, then it is going to be your whole household, definitely. For the Egyptians shall help in vain. Any help you think you're going to get from America, Babylon the Great, particularly when it comes to that charagma, right? We do what we got to do right now. You can get a little something, get it, right? But our hearts now, we just basically just getting something because, that's the way it's been set up for us over here ever since we've been brought over here in bondage. But the time is coming where we have to completely and totally detach. And that time is going to be the hour of temptation, which is for all intents and purposes here. They haven't made it mandatory yet, but it's coming, and it's coming real soon. Okay? So we do what we got to do right now. If they make they're working on making digital IDs mandatory in various different countries around the world, and if they make it mandatory here, which we expect they will, but if they make it, they may do it simultaneous with the charagma, or they may do it ahead of the charagma. Okay, we don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but if they do it ahead of the charagma, you can go ahead and get that. That's not the charagma. That's not the beast rice. Okay? When they make that beast rice mandatory, which has to be put into your body, charaxed. When they make that mandatory, that is the line that you are not to step on, let alone cross. Run the other way. That's when you have to make a clean break. Okay? For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose, therefore, have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. In other words, it ain't going to help you at all. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book. That's the scriptures. Okay? And that's why it's here. That's why it's in the scriptures for us. It's in the scriptures for us because it was commanded of our Father to be in the scriptures for us. That's Romans 15:4 again. Why? That it may be for the time to come. That's now. Forever and ever. All right? Look at the NLT. Now go and write down these words. That's in the scriptures. Write them in the book, the Bible. these words, we're reading them. What about them? Will stand until the end of time, meaning the end of this age, as a witness. It's a witness for us here. So look, the witness is here. Are you going to ignore this witness and just go ahead and say, well, I'm just going to do just like we did back then? That didn't turn out back then, but I'm going to do it now. Maybe it'll be better. Okay? That's foolish. That this is a rebellious people. Us, the nation of Israel. As a people, as a nation. Rebellious. Foolish. Okay? That's why I said we're just like a foolish woman. Which, it was the spirit that I said women, because most women are foolish. Most are. And that's why our Father YAHAWAH likens us into a foolish woman. Because that's what we're acting like when we do these stupid things that we do like we did back during the time of Isaiah and Jeremiah. And that's why our Father says we're like, he said he likens us to a woman, but he also calls us a beautiful, comely, and delicate woman. But those women are stupid too, right? Straight up, right? And that's why our Father says these things about us, because we're acting like a foolish woman. For my people is foolish. Okay? And you women, you daughters of Zion, don't get your panties all in the wad, because this is us, the men too. Okay? Right? And you daughters of Zion that are listening and learning, that's Tawab. All right? The Most High has had great favor on you, and you're not acting foolishly. So that's not going to be you as long as you abide and remain. Right? But women, as you know, outside of the Most High putting that favor on you, it would be you. But Barakatah Yahawah Shema Shai, it isn't you. So just give glory, honor, and praise to Yahawah Shema Shai and remain humble, right? So it wouldn't be you, right? The Most High has had great favor on you and pulled you out of that early. But generally speaking, women are foolish. That's why you need to be under the protection of your father and then transfer to the protection of your husband. Protection and headship of your father transferred to your husband that he chooses for you. That's the righteous way. I know we're far from that. Okay, but we're returning to the best of our ability. For my people, that's us, the men, is foolish. And yeah, that includes you daughters of Zion too. They have not known me. They are sottish, stupid children, sons. And they have none understanding. Okay, that's how we, the men of the nation of Israel, have acted. And are going to act in this day for the very most part outside of the elect. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. Okay? No knowledge. Okay? Absolutely clueless about the right decision to make. And you have no excuse because it is explicitly laid out in the scriptures. Don't take the charagma. I think I'm going to go take the charagma so I can eat. Right? Don't take the charagma. No knowledge to do good. When it comes to doing wickedness, are you all over that? Master, expert, okay? Proficient in doing wickedness. See? Whew. Hey, that's why the scripture says. That's why in the book of Hebrews, it says, let me see if I can remember exactly what that is. And I'll just read it to you, man. Hey, the scriptures is telling us about ourselves. Okay? For the word of the Most High is quick, alive, and powerful, isn't it? And sharper than any two-edged sword, cutting us up. Us, all of us, even the men of the Lord, we get cut too. Piercing even to but the cuts for us are healing cuts, like the cuts of a physician that bring healing. Okay? The cuts for the wicked, you bleeding out. Even the gaping flesh wounds, okay? Even to the cuts of the wicked. If you haven't seen the movie Rob Roy, it's a pretty good movie. Is it called Rob Roy or is it just called Roy? It has Liam Neeson in it. And in the end of the movie, he has a sword battle against the antagonist. Okay, because he's the good guy, the protagonist. He has a sword battle against the antagonist, and it looks like he's about to get killed. Okay, because the antagonist is an expert master swordsman. He's pretty good, but he ain't good enough to beat this expert master swordsman, right? And so he's taking cuts and stuff, and he's about to go down. He's on his knees, and then at the end, I'm going to kind of spoil it for you. Watch it anyway. It's still good, right? And at the end, I'm not going to tell you how though, so you'll have some surprise. He manages to hack the dude across his chest in a manner in which it completely opens up his chest cavity, and he's like almost cut in half, and he's standing on his feet with this massive gaping wound in his torso. That's the type of cuts that are getting to the wicked. Okay, you forget bleeding out. You dead on your feet. And that's what the dude was. He was dead on his feet for like a couple of seconds as he stumbled around with it, basically his torso split in two. And that's the type of cuts that's getting done to the wicked. But the cuts to us, the hopeful elect men of the Lord, and the rest of the elect, you daughters of Zion as well, okay? Yeah, because that is the truth. That's why the Heavenly Father likens us into a woman, because we act stupid like women act stupid, right? And so that's a cut for you. And you need to let that be a healing cut, which causes you to have a sense of humility, which causes you to be in subjection to the men and obey. Okay, your husband, your father, or at a distance, the hopeful elect men of the Lord that preach this word. Okay, if you don't have a husband and a father. Okay, all right, to be in subjection. Okay, listening and learning with all subjection in silence, like the scripture says. All right. So we all are getting cut. Okay. Is it going to be a cut that bleeds you out? Is it going to be a cut that splits you damn near in two, where you just standing on your feet dead already? Okay. Or is it going to be a cut that leads to your healing? Like a cut that's cutting out cancerous cells, and that's going to actually benefit your health. What type of cut is it going to be? Because the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow. Very, very sharp. You can't have a regular sharp knife to do this. You got to have an extremely sharp knife to do this type of separation, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Going to tell you about yourself, all of us. Okay? Got to get to 13. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight. Everything's laid bare. You, me, everyone. We're all laid bare before the Most High. But all things are naked, completely exposed, and opened unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do, which is our Father YAHAWAH, and his only begotten Son YAHAWAH. Okay? No half-stepping. So just drop the act now. Drop the act now. Okay? What are you doing? Drop the act, man. Okay? All right? You're wasting your time. You're not fooling the Most High. Okay? And most likely you're not going to fool the men of the Lord either, because he's giving us the spirit of discernment. Okay? All right? But you're not fooling the Most High. All right? And there's no profit in that. Okay? There's no money in it. Right? Movie line. Right? There's no profit in that. Okay? What's the profit? To just basically to just humble yourself before the sight of the Most High, and then walk in obedience to his word. Okay? All right? Take the low. Okay? All right? And do what he said, man. Don't take the charagma. Let's get back over here. See here. That this is a rebellious people, lying sons that will not hear the law of YAHAWAH. I like the way the NLT puts it. That these people are stubborn rebels who refuse to pay attention to YAHAWAH's instructions. That's good. That's real good, because that's exactly it. Refuse to listen to YAHAWAH's instructions, which say to the seers, before the prophets were called prophets, that we were called seers. Seers and prophets, same thing. Which say to the seers, see not. Don't be prophesying. And to the prophet, same thing, different word. Prophesy not unto us right things. Hey, stop telling us all this stuff, man, about what the Bible says and what we got to do and what the prophet. Stop telling us all of that. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits. Tell us it's all going to be better. Tell us it's all going to turn out good. Tell us it's all going to end well for us. Tell us that things are going to get better, that the economy is going to improve. Tell us that we're going to be prosperous here. Tell us that our bank accounts are going to increase. Our businesses are going to do well. We're going to get promotions. Tell us that our children and our children's children are going to do well here in America, Babylon the Great. Tell us that we're going to prosper here in the shadow of Egypt. Speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. NLT, don't tell us what is right. Tell us nice thing. Tell us lies. Isn't that exactly what women like? Like to be lied to. Does this make my butt look big? Oh, no, honey. Actually, it makes your butt look like it's too big. Setting aside the fact that we like fat asses. We do like fat asses. That's with a PH, though, right? No, baby, that makes your butt look like it's too big, right? I'm making a little fun of it, right? See, again, this is why our Father YAHAWAH likens us into women. All right, and going on with what our people would like to say to us, the prophets, get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Stop with all that preaching on the street corners. Stop with all these lessons. Stop with all this preaching of doom and gloom, okay? Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Stop talking to us about YAHAWAH and Yahawashi. We don't want to hear those names. We don't want to hear about them and how they're going to bring chastisement and judgment on if we don't do what we're commanded to do. We don't want to hear that. Forget all this gloom. Get off your narrow path. Stop telling us about your Holy One of Israel. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel. The Most High is the one listening. Really, you're rejecting him. Because you despised this word. That word is his word. Look at the NLT. That actually does it a little better. Because you despise what I tell you and trust instead in oppression, Egypt, in oppression, America, and lies, Egypt, America. Back to the KJV. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and that's what you're doing, and trust. I didn't despise it. I just kept walking. I said, God bless you. You despised it. And trust, and look, your lip service isn't fooling anyone. Matter of fact, that's going to make it worse. Okay? Don't say no fucking empty words to me, man. Okay? I'm talking about personally, right? Now, if I feel like that, where do you think I got that from? Our Father YAHAWAH feels the same way. Don't be saying no empty words to me. Oh, God bless you. Okay? These people draw near to me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. That's going to bring some extra judgment on your ass. Okay? Them empty words. Better to just keep your mouth shut. You already checked that box of despising them. Better to keep your mouth shut rather than open your mouth and say some empty words and despise them more. Okay? By saying shit you don't mean. Because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perversion, and you stay thereon. We've all heard the word. We've all heard the phrase, stuck on stupid. SOS. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall. Okay? Something, you standing under something and you have no idea that it's about to burst and drop tons of rubble and whatnot on you. Swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Okay? And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel, like a potter's vessel, a clay vessel that's shattered. I mean shattered, not just broken, or it cracked and it broke and, well, man, now I'm not going to be able to carry this water. Oh, wait, one of the pieces, the bottom piece is still, intact enough. It's all broken and stuff, but the bottom, I can still carry some water in this. No, it's going to be completely shattered. That's what this is saying, okay? That is broken in pieces, he shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth. It's not going to be a piece big enough to do that. It's going to be shattered completely. Okay, 1,000 tiny pieces, so to speak. Or to take water withal out of the pit. Yeah, you ain't going to be able to get no water. Okay? And so you go on, and our Father here, YAHAWAH, ultimately he gets down here in 18:19, and he's saying, well, look, if you just trust me and you just listen to me, you're going to get deliverance. You're going to get salvation. It's going to be so very, very well for you if you will just listen to me, trust me, follow me, obey me. That's salvation. That's deliverance. That's the kingdom of heaven. But most are not going to do that. See, that's why it says here, but ye said no, the top of verse 16, but ye would not. Okay? But I'm going to close on this here. Okay? Because 15 is the same concept as 16 and 19. 15 is the same concept and idea as 18 and 19. But this is going to be the answer of most of our people. But she said no, the foolish woman. The foolish woman said no. Okay? And then so I want to close on this here, right? And he shall break it, the 13 and the 14, but the 13 is going to be sufficient because I'm out of time. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Okay? And we're going to close with this here. Sirach 5 and 7. Okay? Go ahead and do it. If go ahead and do it and see what happens. Go ahead and do it and see how it turns out. You already know how it's going to turn out because it's been read to you. It's been preached to you, right? But most are going to have to see it for themselves. They're going to have to learn the hard way. Sirach 5 and 7. Make no tarrying. To tarry is to delay, to procrastinate, to wait. Make no tarrying. Okay? Put it another way. Do not delay to turn to YAHAWAH, the Lord, YAHAWAH, and put not off from day to day. Don't procrastinate. Okay? All right? Don't procrastinate. Okay? That procrastination, like it says in the book of Proverbs, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands, and calamity is going to come upon you. Poverty, calamity is going to come upon you suddenly. Okay? That's the tarrying. A little slumbering, a little sleeping. You know, the alarm's gone off. The alarm is the preaching of this gospel. The alarm's gone off, but you just kind of like turn over and, and hug your pillow a little tighter, right? And that's the destruction of your soul. For suddenly, okay? Do you hear the immediacy and the urgency and the surprise of that word? Suddenly, out of nowhere, shall the wrath of YAHAWAH come forth, and catch this, and in thy security, you consented, you gave in, you went, you all up in the shadow of Egypt, and you got your charagma, and you got your digital currencies on it, and you able to keep your job, you know, and you able to keep your house, and you're able to go get some victuals. All right, you're able to go get some food. And now it seems like the sky is clearing. It seems like the sun is starting to shine through and brighter days are ahead. And right at that time, when you're in your security, now I'm starting to feel safe. Now it's starting to feel comfortable to me again. Right at that moment. In thy security, right when you start to feel safe, right when you start to feel now it's all good. Now it's good. Right then, in your security, thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. You fell for the trap. You fell for the trap. It's all a trap. It's all bait. Okay? All right? You have a fish. I don't know what the fish is called, but it's a fish that is deep in the ocean. Okay? And it's real dark down there. And I've seen it on some what do you call it? You know, National Geographic, whatnot, whatever. I've seen it. And you've probably seen it too. And it hunts down there, and it's got some vicious looking teeth. It's just a vicious looking fish. And what it has, it's real dark down there. And what it has is it has a little tentacle that comes off of either of its head or its back. And the little tentacle at the end of it, it goes up and over and then comes down. And at the end of it, it has a light. It has bioluminescence, so it can light up and kind of pulse and all that and whatnot. And the other fish that are down there, they see that light. It's very dark down there, and it draws them to it. And it kind of mesmerizes them. And when they get close enough, then the light kind of changes or dims or goes out or whatever. And then the fish with those vicious looking teeth just grabs them up and swallows them, and they're consumed. So the very thing that enticed them and drew them in is the exact same thing that consumed them. You see? Make no tarrying to turn to YAHAWAH, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of YAHAWAH, which the wrath of YAHAWAH is that destruction that comes upon you for not obeying him. Okay? That's why we got the Proverbs 17 and 13. Right? It is 17 and 13. Might as well read it again, make sure I got that right. I said Proverbs, I meant Psalms. Might be 13 and 17. I think it's 17 and 13. Yeah, arise, O YAHAWAH, disappoint him, Esau, Edom. Okay? Pharaoh. Cast him down, modern day spiritual Pharaoh. Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So when the wicked do what the wicked do, which is going to be to destroy you, that's the Most High swinging his sword. So you better fear the one that swings the sword. Matthew 10 and 28. Fear not him who is able to destroy the body, that's a sword, but fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. That's the Most High. Fear the Most High, not Esau, not Edom, not Pharaoh, not the so-called white man, generally speaking. Fear the Most High. Okay? And if you don't fear the Most High and you run to Egypt, well, then the Most High is going to use that sword to slay you. Okay? Yeah. And in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. The wrath of YAHAWAH come forth. Right? Because when Esau do what he do to all those of our people that run to him and trust in him, even some of those that would say, no, I ain't trust him, I ain't gonna do this, that, there, and another. Even if they don't, they didn't run to the Most High. And even if they don't, they still trust in him. They still trust in Egypt to a certain capacity, right? And even if they even setting that aside, it's not just about that. It's about not believing the Most High. They have an evil heart of unbelief. Without faith, it is impossible to please the Most High. They're faithless. So they just losing on all kinds of levels. Okay? But look, even the levels that you would say, well, nah, but they didn't lose on that level, though. Don't matter. The level they did lose on, that was enough. That was enough for the Most High to put you to death. But look, check it. The levels that you would think, nah, well, at least they didn't lose on that level. Okay? No, they did. It was just in a way that was more subtle and less easy to perceive. They did. Okay? There are many things that are spiritual. You need to take a deeper look. All things are spiritual, actually. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I've been going for a while, and I'm really out of time, you know. But I got essentially what I wanted to get from Isaiah 30, essentially, I think. Yeah. But we didn't get into Jeremiah 37. We'll get into that next time. YAHAWAH, subject to the Spirit. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Before I do, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to YAHAWAH, Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching, pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth. YAHAWAH, that's what's edifying and encouraging to you, Achim, and any Akhwaf that may be listening and or watching. Ayashmeh Kwanah, Azanyam La Shemai, let him who has ears to hear. Kwam Yesharallah, Baba Kwasha Abad Babal Aitha, we'll call Adawam. Shalom Lahabacharyam, Shalom. Don't take the charagma. Don't take the beast rice. Shalom.